So far, we've looked at how to find the roots, the y-intercept, and the axis of symmetry. The last big characteristic we're going to look at is the turning point, and in the next video we're just going to have a brief look at how to tell if you have a maximum or a minimum turning point. In order to find the turning point, there is more than one method. The method I like to do though is find the axis of symmetry first. And we did that in the last video, and we figured out that the way to do that was to half the distance between the roots. So in between, slap bang in the middle, -2 and 1, we found that x was -0.5. Now we know that our turning point is on the axis of symmetry because it's the point at which we change direction and we start to do a symmetrical curve. So we've got x equals 0.5. We therefore know the x coordinate of this point. So equals -0.5. You're able to use your quadratic equation like a formula. You just substitute in. So f of -0.5 is equal to 0.5 squared. Sorry, -0.5 squared plus -0.5, take away 2. So -0.5 squared, your negative is going to disappear and you're going to be left with 0.25. Take away 0.5, take away 2. And if you collect those together, you're going to end up with -2.25. So our coordinate is x is -0.25 and y is -2.25. I recommend that you take the time to write your coordinate out very clearly in your solution because it's very easy to forget to write that coordinate and it means you lose a mark, and it's a really silly mark to lose. So just take the time to write your coordinate as your answer. Okay, looking at the next one, we have our axis of symmetry is x equals 0. So we're going to be finding f of 0 equals 0 squared, take away 9. The 0 is going to disappear and you're going to be left with -9. So out comes your coordinate x, y, or f of x, 0 minus 9. And we have already found this point. If you remember back to finding the y-intercept, we found it by substituting in 0. So if we have a difference of 2 squares, your axis of symmetry is going to be x of 0, and your turning point is going to be the same as your y-intercept, always. Let's look at this last example. This one's got some decimals in it as well that aren't going to be pleasant. So, f of x equals x squared minus 9x. So f of 4.5, because that was our axis of symmetry, that was the middle point for our turning point, equals 4.5 squared, take away 9 times 4.5. So I just plugged that into my calculator and I got 20.25. And I'm plugging the second one in. 9 times 4.5 equals 40.5. Now you could have done this all in one go and that would have been absolutely fine. And we're being left with negative 20.25 for our y coordinate. Take the 5 seconds to write it out. X, y minus 20.25 and then mark it on the graph. So to recap, finding the turning point. The easiest way to do it is find the midpoint of your roots, because that is your x coordinate. You may recognize that that is the same as your axis of symmetry. Once you have that midpoint, you substitute it in to your quadratic, and after you've worked through the calculation, the answer is your y coordinate, and that gives you your turning point x, y.